A very good morning, dear students. Today I am going to start a new chapter, that is chapter 7, and the chapter is Diversity in Living Organism. Today I am here with the part 1 of the chapter. Now let me show you what I am going to discuss in this part. In this part I will discuss the basis of classification, and then the next topic will be classification and evolution, and last topic of this session will be the hierarchy of classification or groups. Right, so let me start here. Okay. So I'm starting with a comparison of you and the living organism surrounding you. Have you ever noticed the living organism in your surroundings? Then what do you find? What do you observe? Don't you observe that you and those living organisms have many things in common and have many things in difference also? So when you compare yourself with your friend, what do you notice? See, you and your friend both are human being. Okay, so in that manner you are same, but you have differences also. If you compare your height, so are you have same height? I'm sure that you are not having same height. Now, if you compare your nose, so do you have exactly same nose? Here also I'm sure that you are having different type of nose. Now, if you compare your hand span, at that time also you notice that your hand span is of not same size. So though you are human being, but then also you have differences, right? Now you compare yourself with a monkey. What do you observe? No doubt that you have many things in common. But when you compare yourself with a cow, at that time what do you observe? At this time, you do not have so many things in common. But when you are comparing yourself with monkey, at that time you find so many things in common, right? Here we will do one activity. We will take the example of two breed of cows. One is Desi cow and then the Jersey cow. See, both are the cows. Okay, so in that manner they are same, but then also they are different to each other. Desi cow and Jersey cow. The first thing is their look is different. Okay, they all have four legs, two ears, one tail. They give milk, but then also they are different. So how we will be able to find out or to identify that it is Jersey cow or it is Deshi cow? So what is the basis of our identification that this is Desi cow or this is Jersey cow? Okay, in this activity, we had to decide some characteristics. Okay, so which characteristics were more important in forming the desired category? So here we are deciding the characteristics that can be considered and the characteristics that could be ignored. On the basis of those characteristics, we can decide that this one cow is Jersey and another cow is Desi. Okay. Now, in the same manner, think of all the different forms in which life occurs on the earth. We have to differentiate or we have to categorize all the life forms on the earth on the basis of their characteristics. If they have same characteristics, we'll put them in same group. If they do not have same characteristics, they differ from each other, we'll put them in different groups. One life form is bacteria. Okay, this life form is microscopic form. They are very small. They are few micrometers in size. On the other hand, blue whale or a redwood trees, they are giant, means very big in size. Redwood trees of California of approximate sizes of 30 meters and 100 meters. Blue whale size 30 meters and redwood trees 100 meter size. So at the same time, bacteria are very few, micrometer in size, blue whale 30-meter in size, redwood trees 100-meter in size, but they all are the forms of life, but they all are different. See, if we talk about pine trees, they live for thousands of years. But if we talk about mosquito, they will die within a few days, or sometime within few hours. So what are you observing over here? Here I'm talking about size, and here I'm talking about lifespan. At the same time, not only size and lifespan or about their life, there is a difference about color also. Life ranges from colorless to colorful or even transparent also. Some organisms are colorless, some are transparent, some are brightly colored. Okay, so we can differentiate the things on the basis of these characters. These characters are helpful to us to put the organism into group. In order to make relevant groups to study the variety of life forms, we need to decide which characteristics decide more fundamental difference among organisms. This would create the main broad groups of organisms. I think now it is clear how do we put the living organisms into group. So we take help of their characteristics. Okay. So with in these groups, smaller subgroups will be decided by less important characteristics. At first, we will divide all the organisms into main groups like plant and animals, and now there will be subgroups. Okay, before moving further, let me answer these questions that are asked, and these questions I have taken from textbook only. In your textbook on page number 18, 80, you will find these questions. So the first question is, why do we classify organisms? So we classify organisms to make it more convenient to study their characteristics. Okay. Now the second question is, give three examples of the range of variation that you see in life forms around you. In recent slide, previous slide also we study about that. So it was about size and then lifespan and then color. So small frog to big whale, okay, and then creeper to the eucalyptus tree, and then here is the about color, black cuckoo to the colorful peacock. So these are the range of variation that we find if life forms around us. Now we come to the main topic. What is the basis of the classification? Greek thinker Aristotle, he classified animals according to whether they live on land or they live in water or they live in the air. So I think this was the first classification of living organism. This classification was very simple way, okay, but it was not perfect also. It was very misleading too. For example, animals that live in the sea, जैसे coral, whale, octopus, starfish and shark, okay? So they are the animals that live in water. Immediately we can see that these are very different from each other in the numerous way. So even though they all live in water, they cannot be grouped in the they cannot be put into the same group. So this classification of Aristotle could not work. So, as I told you, okay, among coral, whale, octopus, starfish, and shark, only the habitat is common. Other things they do not have common. So we cannot put all the animals into one group on the basis of only one characteristic that they live in the water, right? So now we need to decide which characteristics to be used as basis for making broadest division. So then we have to pick the next set of characteristics for making subgroups within these divisions. So this process of classification within each group can then continue using new characteristics each time. At first, we will take main characteristics and we will divide the organisms into groups and then subgroups and then subgroups. Okay. Finally, we will be having the animals that will be having only one type of characteristics. Okay, so let me tell you actually what do I mean by a characteristic. So characteristic in particular is a feature or a particular function. For example, human being have 5 fingers on each hand. So that is a characteristic of human being. A human can run, but a tree cannot. So that is the characteristic of a human being. What are some concrete examples of such characteristics used for hierarchical classification? See, these characteristics are used and then a hierarchy is formed in which living organisms are kept in a hierarchy. For example, nucleus can be a basic characteristics of classification and division of labor can be another characteristics. Then photosynthesis can be another characteristics. The living organisms that they conduct photosynthesis, they can be grouped together, and the living organism they do not show photosynthesis, they can be grouped together. Of the organisms that perform photosynthesis, okay, they are the plants. All the plants they perform photosynthesis. So all the plants can be grouped together, and all the other organisms that do not perform photosynthesis can be grouped together. Now, of the animals, how does the individual's body develop and organize its different parts? And what are the specialized organ found for the different functions that can be used to a hierarchy is developed when we arrange the organisms as per their characteristics. The characteristics of body design used for classification of plant will be very different from those important for classifying animals. It means the characteristics that we are considering for plant cannot be same for the animals. So when we are classifying plants into the groups, at that time we will consider different types of characteristics or qualities of particular behavior, and when we are classifying animals, at that time we will consider different type of characteristics, right? See, uh, at first we can classify by taking their very basic characteristics, that the living organisms that make their own food, so they are plants, and the living organism that do not make their own food, so they are animals. Okay, so they are divided. So these design features are to be used to make subgroups rather than making broad groups. Okay, finally we have two groups, one for plant and one for animals, but now we have to divide further. So we can consider in animals that the animals that have skeleton and the animals that do not have. Okay, so this is the way we follow for further classification, right? Now here are the questions. Which do you think is a more basic characteristic for classifying organisms? The place where they live or the kind of cell they are made of, and why? See, the kind of cell they are made up of is a more basic characteristic for classifying the organism, because the habitat can have species with different characteristics. Okay, as I gave you the example of all those aquatic animals, only and only habitat was the common thing among them. All other characteristics were different. So the kind of the cells they are made up of should be the basic characteristic to classify the organisms. The next question is, what is the primary characteristic on which the broad division of organism is made? So that is the nature of the cells. It is broadly classified as prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells, which furthermore is classified into subclasses. The next question is, on what basis are plants and animals put into different categories? So plants and animals are put into different categories on the basis of these two things. The first is cell wall. Presence and absence of cell wall make a important difference between plant and animals. And the second thing is mode of nutrition. The living organism who perform photosynthesis are grouped together and named plant, and the living organism that cannot perform photosynthesis are grouped together and named animals, right? The second topic is classification and evolution, right? All living organisms are identified and they are categorized on the basis of their body design in the form and function. Some characteristics are likely to make more wide-ranging changes in body design than others. So there is a role of time in this as well. When we were classifying the things, we cannot ignore the time. Time means the era, the past, when they were found together. So once a certain body design comes into existence, it will shape the effect of all other subsequent design changes simply because it already exists. In other words, or easy words, I can say that characteristics that come into existence earlier are likely to be more basic than the characteristics that have come into existence later. जो पुरानी characteristic हैं with the time, they were more basic in the comparison of those characteristics which have come into existence later. Charles Darwin, he first described this idea of evolution in his book, and the name of the book is The Origin of Species, and he was called the father of evolution. When we connect this idea of evolution to classification, we will find some groups of organisms which have ancient body designs that have not changed very much. Now also they are having with that ancient body design. We will also find other groups of organisms that have acquired their particular body designs relatively recently. Those in the first group are frequently referred to as primitive और लोअर ऑर्गेनिजम्स, मतलब जिनके बॉडी डिजाइन में ज्यादा चेंज नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है, उनको हम बोलते हैं प्रिमिटिव, while those in second group are called advanced or higher organisms. Again questions are here. The first question is, which organisms are called primitive and how are they different from so-called advanced organisms? So as I told you, primitive organisms are the organisms that exhibit a very simple and basic cell arrangement. Okay, while advanced organisms are the organisms that have millions of cells that are grouped together in various organs that perform different functions. For example, mammals. The second question is, will advanced organism be the same as complex organism? Yes. Advanced organisms be the same as complex organisms because these are the consequences of advanced lead to the multiple cell arrangement that can be operated uniquely. That is why they are considered as complex organisms. The hierarchy of classification or groups. At first, let me tell you what is classification. I think now after all these discussion, you are clear about classification. Classification is the process of grouping things based on their similarities. Okay. Biologists use classification to organize living things into groups so that the organisms are easier to study. So this is the definition of classification and answer of the question, why do we need classification? The scientific study of how living things are classified is called taxonomy. And Carles Linnaeus is called father of taxonomy. Okay. The scientists who studied biology, or we can call them biologists, Ernest Haeckel, Robert Whittaker, and Carl Woese. They have tried to classify all living organisms into broad categories, and those categories are called kingdom. The classification proposed by Whittaker has 5 kingdoms, and those 5 kingdoms are Monera, Protista, fungi, plant, and then animal. So all the living organisms in the world are grouped together among these 5 kingdoms, right? Nowadays, this classification is only used. These groups are formed on the basis of their cell structure, mode and source of nutrition and their body organization. The modification was introduced by dividing the Monera into Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Okay, so these are the five kingdoms in which all the animals of the world are grouped. Further classification is done by naming the subgroups at various levels as given in the scheme. See, at first, all the animals are grouped into kingdom. For example, plant and animal. And after that, those kingdoms are divided into phylum, in which main plants and main animals are classified. And after that, class, then order, then family, then genus, and at last the species. So all the animals that are in one species will be having common characteristics. So the most general group is kingdom. And then each step eliminates organism until there is only and only one animal is there. Means one animal nahi, all the animals of one same characteristics. And the species is the smallest, most exact group. So thank you students. Now in next session, we will study about all the five kingdoms one by one, their characteristics,